Yo, peace was good, peeps. Welcome to the installment of albums that never got released officially. This is gonna be part 2. I just want to give a shout out to everybody that sent me comments and stuff like that. You know, I have this is gonna be a disclaimer because I already had people tell me, yo, what about this album? What about that album? You know, this and that and third. If you guys gotta remember, in the beginning of the first video that I posted, I said I had to break it down in parts because there's a lot of albums that I want to talk about that never came out, that never saw the light of day, and I had to break it in parts. It's gonna be like 10 videos per video. So the only thing I'm just ignoring is this. I'm a lot of those albums that you mentioned, I have it on the list, but there's no way I could post over 40 albums in one video, like, and plus with my camera, it's very limited, you know what I mean? So just gotta be patient. So definitely don't worry about it. I will cover those albums. Just gotta be patient. Just enjoy, sit back and enjoy the ride, as they would say. Alright, so I left off with Nas, the OG version of the I Am album. That was number 10. Now I'm gonna start off with number 11. The number 11, I put Lloyd Banks with the Big Withdrawal album. That was supposed to be Lloyd Banks' second album. That was supposed to come out back in 2005, 2006. What happened was the album got leaked, and how it got leaked is crazy. Apparently, according to Lloyd Banks, he was in a threesome with two girls, and he had the actual album on a CD, but it had no writing. It had no writing on it. It was just like, it was blank. But it was like inside like a Woo Kid mixtape that he had lying around. And you know, when he was done doing his business, you know, he noticed the shit got missing. So because of that, the album, you know, got leaked and stuff like that. So which forced him to make new material, and that new album ended up becoming Rotten Apple. And man, that Rotten Apple album is dope. I think I like it better than the first album. Although I do like Hunger for More, but I feel like Hunger for More never really it didn't age very well in my opinion. Rotten Apple, in my opinion, I like that a little bit better. I like the more darker vibe of the album. You know what I mean? You got some dope joints. A lot of people sleep on Rotten Apple, but Big Withdrawal, that's a very dope album. You can actually find that album on YouTube, and you also could download it at it's on .piff. You go on .piff, type in Lloyd Banks, Big Withdrawal, it should pop up. But it's very, very dope, man. I mean, it has no filler tracks. It's straight street shit. It's straight street tracks, and I would love for Lloyd Banks to put that out. Would love for friend to put it out. You know what I'm saying? But I highly doubt it because, like I said, it's already been out, so it's been leaked. So, but if he had come out with an official copy of the album, I would definitely pick it up. But like I said, album like straight street shit, gangster shit, no filler tracks, no love songs, anything like that. I mean, that's just straight ill. That's Lloyd Banks with the Big Withdrawal. And that was, like I said, it was supposed to come out back in 2005, 2006. All right. Number 12, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube with Helter, Skelter. That album was supposed to come out back in 1994. People was going crazy over the song. They came out with a song called Natural Born Killer, which was on the soundtrack of this album, Natural Born Killer. And people was going crazy over that. And then, you know, you gotta remember, this is like 94. So, you know, this is at the time when Dr. Dre was on his peak. Both, you know, the whole package, him rapping and, you know, him and then Ice Cube, you know, just coming off the Death Certificate, the Lethal Injection album back in 1993, which I feel like is very underrated. A lot of people hate on Lethal Injection. I thought it was a dope album. Definitely check out my review of that album. I did a review on that joint. But yeah, it was very promising, and unfortunately that never came to fruition, which is unfortunate, you know. It's sad because, and I think legally, I don't think they were able to do that anyways because of the clause, the contract, the claws and stuff like that. Ice Cube being on Priority Records, Dr. Dre being on Death Row Records. So I don't think that would have been possible. So I think that's probably why that never happened. Because. And then, it just all boils down to people not being business-minded at the time, too. But, it is what it is. But it would have been dope. And for them to come out with an album like that now, I think it would have been a little bit too late. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just that Dr. Dre's production, for me, well, I think he began, co-production nowadays. Because there's beats that he's done that, I thought he did, but another producer did that. But that's a whole different topic. But, Helter Skelter, it was set to release back in 1994, but unfortunately never came out. So, that's Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. Let me get a swig of water. Alright. 13, still on the West Coast side of things. Death Row related. Is Lady of Rage with Eargasm. There's conflicting things about that title because there's been a lot of people saying that that was supposed to come out back in 1992. I don't know how that's possible. I want to say that album was supposed to come out maybe around 94. I would say anywhere between 94 and 96. And the reason why the album never came out was because I believe it's because of the whole Tupac hype. They were more focused on Tupac. Tupac was the hottest commodity at the time. You know what I mean? And Tupac came out All Eyes on Me back in 1996, and then that was the album that that album pretty much overshadowed Lady of Rage's album. And Lady of Rage wasn't really a priority. I mean, she had the song Afro Pups, which I fucking love that joint. I kind of like the album version that was on the soundtrack, the Above the Rim soundtrack. That's the album version. That one was cool, but I prefer the video version. That's the remix. Excuse me, I'm spitting all over. I thought I wanted that on the album, on the soundtrack version. When I didn't hear that version, I was kind of like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But there is an EP, the Eargasm EP of songs that she recorded back in the 90s. She ended up putting out her first album, Necessary Roughness, back in 1997. That album was okay. It wasn't really all that good. It was kind of disappointing. It was okay. It could have been better in my opinion. But it had some decent tracks, but I feel like it could have been better. But that's Lady of Rage with Eargasm. Like I said, I think the album, I would say was set to be released back in 1990, between 94 and 96. But like I said, it got overshadowed because of the whole Tupac hype. So that's Lady of Rage with Eargasm. Number 14, RZA with The Cure. That was another album that was supposed to be released back in 1998-99. And the album never got released. It got shelved because, at the time, the big hype right now at that time was RZA with his Bobby Digital and Stereo album that came out in 98, which I think is a very underrated album. A lot of woo heads, a lot of hip-hop fans like to shit on. But I thought it was a dope album. It was very experimental. At the time, RZA wasn't really doing a lot of he wasn't sampling as much. You know what I mean? He started using a lot more synths, which you can hear on albums like Liquid Swords, Wu-Tang, especially on Wu-Tang Forever. He started implementing a lot more synths in his albums and stuff like that on the albums. Excuse me, even as early as '94 too. But yeah, man, and like I said, I feel like The Cure would have been a fucking banger in my opinion, especially if it came out around that time. But I think people wouldn't be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? And I think because of the mediocre reviews, the negative reviews on the Bobby Digital and Stereo album is why he didn't put it out. Because I kind of feel like The Cure would have been kind of an extension of the Bobby Digital album, in my opinion. As far as production wise, that's just my personal opinion. But who knows if that album will ever come out, And if it does come out, I want it to come out the way it was supposed to be. I don't want him reworking on the album. I don't want no fucking new artists on there. No no Common, no Black Thought, or anybody, and there's no shots towards them or whoever is the hottest dude out right now. I don't want to see no Tali Kweli, none of that. I want, you know, whatever artist you was working with at the time in 98, 97, 98, I want that original album to come out. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my opinion on that. But that's RZA with The Cure. That was supposed to come out the same year, back in 1998, the same year that Bobby Digital and Stereo was released. All right, so that's RZA The Cure. Next album, still in the Wu scheme of things, is Inspectah Deck with the OG version of Uncontrolled Substance. That album was supposed to come out back in the late 90s, particularly 1997. What happened with that album is that I'm pretty sure everybody's heard about the infamous flood that happened back in 94, 93, 94, 95. Back in mid-90s when that flood happened. Because there were two floods. And Inspectah Deck was saying in an interview, when the flood happened, Inspectah Deck tried to salvage the floppy disk off the ASR-10 because that's what he was using at the time. And, you know, they couldn't save the song, so all those joints was destroyed. You know what I mean? And it kind of sucks. So, like I said, that was supposed to come out back in 1997. And then, so, he started working on the album, so he had to redo the whole album again. And Uncontrolled Substance ended up coming out back in 1999. So, the version that you hear on the version you hear on the retail version, that's a remix version, but there's an original one. But again, we'll never get to hear that, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. You know what I mean? The closest thing you're gonna hear from what I believe the first album was supposed to sound like was a song called "Let Me At 'Em" by Inspectah Deck. That was featured on the Tales from the Hood soundtrack, and he produced that song. He did the beat on that album. That song, excuse me. And I think that was supposed to be what the album sounded like. And if it sounded like that, oh my god, that would have been dope. Let me turn on the volume. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I could imagine if that's the way that song sounded, if the whole album sounded like that should have been fucking crazy. I think it would have been on the same vein as like a Tikal, like that kind of vibe. I know a lot of people don't like Tikal. I love that album. I think it's a great album. But yeah, man. But yeah, it's a shame that we'll never get to hear that album, man. But that's the OG version of Uncontrolled Substance. It was set to be released back in 1997. All right. Number 16, Murder Inc. Murder Inc. being the trio, which consisted of Jay-Z, DMX, and Ja Rule. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, yo. If those three came out with an album together back in like 98, 99, oh my god, that would have been a bona fide classic. Man. Their chemistry together, oh my god, so dope. But you know, in that song, what people went crazy over was the song Murdergram that was featured on the Streets Is Watching soundtrack. But you know, that album, that song right there, I mean, it just you know, killed the whole world, man. That shit was so fucking dope. But that's not the first song they ever recorded together. The first song they were featured together was on Mike Geronimo's first album, The Natural, on the song, what's the song? Time to Build, which was track number 6, I believe it was on the Natural album, and that was their first time being on a track together. And there was rumors. I mean, I think DMX was saying in his book, the Earl book, a very good book. I don't have it. It's been a while since I read it. I think X was saying how in the song, him and Jay was battling each other. They were battling each other and stuff like that. They were doing like subliminal shots and stuff like that. So yeah, man, and you can kind of hear it. You can hear if you catch certain nuances and stuff like that. You can kind of tell they're kind of going at each other. And the reason why the album never materialized is because of Jay-Z and DMX's beef with each other. And that sucks because that would have been dope. I mean, DMX back in 98, 99, DMX's first two albums, oh my god, classics. And, you know, they were all in their prime, you know what I mean? You know, Ja Rule's first two albums, the Venerated Vici album, very, very dope, very underrated. Even the Rule 336 album was dope. You know, Jay-Z back in 98, 99, oh my god, dope. Alright, so that's 16 with Murder Inc. 17, Cash Money Click. That was Ja Rule's old group, which consisted of Ja Rule himself, Chris Black, Nemesis, I think 01. Pretty much the people, his group, the Murderers, the people that were in that group, besides like, except for Cadillac Ty and stuff like that, well, they were supposed to drop an album, but it never came out. You know what I'm saying? They had songs like Get the Fortune, which is a classic, For My Clip with Mike Geronimo, and they had one song, I forgot, with Jay-Z. I forgot the name of it. I can't think of it on the top of my head. That album was supposed to come out back in 96, but it never came out, and it sucks. I would have loved to hear an album from that time, man. I mean, Irv Gotti's production back in like 94, 95 was dope. I mean, when people think of Irv Gotti, people think of like the beats like that he did, like, you know, Holla Holla and all the Always on Time, and all those songs, that the lovey dovey songs that Ja Rule was known for, that Irv Gotti did, the Ashanti stuff. Now, there was a time that Irv Gotti made some grimy, dark beats. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know that. Like the song Shit Is Real by Mike Geronimo, he did the beat for that. He did a couple other joints on that album. But yeah, man, that would have been fucking dope. But unfortunately, that never came out. I highly doubt that will ever come out. But that's Cash Money Click. That's number 17. Like I said, I think that would have been out back in like 96. 18, Eazy-E with Temporary Insanity. That was another album that was supposed to come out back in 93. He talked about that as early as like 91, that he was working on that album. And because of what happened between him and Eazy, him and Dr. Dre, the beef and stuff like that, he kind of got sidetracked. And because if you notice, like, he had put out that EP back in 1992, the 5150 Home for the Sick album, EP I should say, excuse me, which was mediocre. I did a review on that. Could have been a lot better. I honestly only like 2 songs off that EP, which was Only If You Want It and Neighborhood Sniper, excuse me. And that was pretty much the precursor to Temporary Insanity. And because of that, he kind of scrapped that album, and he put out the It's On, When He Said It Kill Him, by Dr. Dre, and the album never came out, you know what I'm saying, which is unfortunate. But there's rumors that, you know, the Straight Off the Streets of Motherfucking Compton, his second album, his official second album, were songs from the Temporary Insanity that he kind of updated, and songs that he made and stuff like that. And you can kind of tell because, like, songs like Sorry Louie, songs like Hit the Hook and Heavy, those are songs that had like that 93 vibe to it, you know what I'm saying, if you hear that album and stuff like that. But it's sad that we probably never gonna hear the album. You know, Tamika Wright of Ruthless Records, you know, Eazy's wife, you know, owns the rights to those albums, and you know, she's kind of a, yeah, so she's one of those. But yeah, that's Eazy with Temporary Insanity. So I would have loved to hear that album, man. So, and I heard that he recorded as much as 60 tracks on the album. Man, I would love to hear that. But and there's also talk of, you know, some of those songs being on the Impact of a Legend EP that he dropped in 2002, that were supposed to be on Temporary Insanity. That's kind of debatable, just because of the beats, you know, because some of the beats don't sound like from 95. Some of them don't. But, you know, I think it's like the Tupac treatment, where they update the beats to make it sound like the modern sound, you know what I mean? But That's snare here or there, but that's Eazy with Temporary Insanity. Still in the West Coast NWA scheme of things is number 19 with MC Ren Life Sentence. That was an album that was supposed to drop back in like 92, 93. The story with that album is that he was working on the album, things like that, but then he converted to Islam. You know, he became part of the Nation Gods. He's part of the Nation of Islam. He converted to Islam and stuff like that. He became a Muslim, and so he strapped a life sentence, and he worked on the new album. But and he ended up coming out with Shock of the Hour. But in Shock of the Hour, the first 6 songs the first 6 songs, which is like the first half of the album because it has like 11 tracks. You guys, is what Life Sentence was supposed to be, and then the second half, which is like 7 to 11, the next 5 songs or whatever, were the songs from the new album that he scrapped. If you notice, if you listen to the first 6 songs, it's his gangster shit, it's straight street gangster shit and stuff like that. And then the 7th song, like starting from like Mayday on the front line, you know, he got more political and stuff like that, and you know, things of that nature. So yeah, and that's a classic album. I fucking love that album, man. And that's a very slept on album. I'm happy to own that album because that album goes for a lot of money online, unfortunately. But yeah, MC Ren with Life Sentence. That would have been a dope album either way if it came out, if its original form. But luckily we were able to get that album in the first half of the album of Shock of the Hour. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the last album, Ali Vegas with Generation Gap. That was another album that was supposed to come out back in the late 90s, 99, 2000. Ali Vegas being for South Jamaica, Queens. Known for his affiliation with AZ, Half a Mil, recipes at Half a Mil. Yeah, man, that dude was the truth. When he first came out, people were saying he was like the second coming of Nas, you know, just his delivery, his voice and stuff like that. And I think that would have been dope, man, if the album came out. It was called Generation Gap. And he had that song, what's the name of the song? That was a single. Demon New York. That was a big song back in like 99, 2000. And people were ready for that album, and it never came out. You know what I mean? Just political reasons, you know, label bullshit. And you know, Ali Vegas, I feel like he's very underrated. But that's another album that actually leaked that you can find on, you know, YouTube or, you know, whatever file sharing website. So that's number 20. That's the last video that I want to talk about. Thank you guys for all the love, all the good comments. Much love to you guys. Again, you guys gotta be patient. There are a lot of albums I have to that I am missing, obviously, but I'm doing it on separate videos. You know what I'm saying? So just stay tuned for that. As I'm doing these videos, I'm constantly, and it, you know, just me reading the reviews. I mean the comments. I'm constantly just writing, you know, new albums to mention and stuff like that. But much love to everybody. Peace.